games in rhythm.
Oh, beautiful.
Williams is starting to heat up. Got it.
Lou Williams all the way to the goal. Lou Williams shoots for the win.
What can you say about Lou Will except, let me tell you something, he was pretty decent last year. Some of the biggest games we saw all season long, Karan, from Lou Will offensively. So much for just being a sixth man. He was the man during that stretch after Blake Griffin was traded.
Absolutely. The leading scorer on this ball club, somebody that was very, very efficient, night in, night out, consistently just brought the numbers every game. I mean, he was amazing to watch. Could have easily been an all-star, and that's in the Western Conference.
Coach, it's amazing because on the other side, everybody knows he's going to shoot when he gets the ball. They know he's going to try and score, yet he still is putting up 20, 30, 40-point nights during the course of the year.
I think it had to do wonders for his mentality that he knew that now with the trade taking place where Blake Griffin had been moved on, that I'm the guy now. And Doc is coming to me. They have to give me this many touches for them to have a chance to win. And I think he played with a completely different mentality and approach to the game. And as a result, he was sensational.
Yeah, I'll use a baseball term. We talk about the green light for somebody stealing a base. How much as a coach do you have to kind of give Lou the green light to let him do his thing? Well, because it's going to take some shots you're not exactly going to be happy with. Fair?
I think Karan can talk to the fact that as a player, you play so much better when you know your coaching staff believes in you and they allow you to do the things that you can accomplish on the floor. There may be times that you sit down and say, maybe we tinker with this a little bit or don't try that too much. But when you have that green light, you play at a different level.
You really do. Like, it's an amazing amount of freedom and confidence that come with that green light. Lime green light, you know, like when you're in a situation and when you get the ball, the team kind of just play off your strengths and necessarily also your weaknesses. So that's exactly what Lou has with this team. And he can just go. He has the freedom. You know, he has creative freedom at all times that he can be one-on-one with anybody and take advantage of his talent, of the talents of the other team.
The good news is you also offset the balance because the two guys in the starting backcourt both can defend the heck out of the basketball, which helps. Let's start with Patrick Beverley. Just from an extension of what you're trying to do as a coach for Doc, how great is it for him to have Beverley back on the floor with the way he creates that attitude?
Well, he gets that bulldog back out there, and he's got another bulldog alongside him in Avery Bradley. But those two guys will set the tone defensively by going after and guarding the basketball. And I'm kind of anxious to see how he comes out because he loves to play the game so much that him having to miss that much time last season, I can't imagine what was going through his head watching the things that were happening and knowing that he could not contribute. But they're back this year with a fresh start, and hopefully he comes out of the gates quickly.
Yeah, it's weird because you think about National League conversation about basketball, Karan. It's almost like some people have forgotten about how great Avery Bradley was becoming when he left Boston, both in Detroit and here thus far in L.A. Do you see a rejuvenated season from Bradley this year?
Yes, absolutely. He's going to be a guy that's going to come in. He fits the system of what Doc is trying to do. He did the same thing in Boston. He's going to do the same thing necessarily here with the Clippers. He's going to have a chance to be creative. And, you know, with guys like Bradley and, you know, having them in the backcourt, they take on the identity of these guys. So Beverley and Bradley are like, they're paramount to this ball club, you know, defensively because that's their disposition night in and night out. That's what they're great at, but offensively as well.
When you don't have big stars, strength in numbers, obviously a factor. Let's look at the depth chart and see kind of where the Clippers are coming into this season. And Coach, Gallo staying healthy and being effective always seems to be an important factor. Is this the year we finally get it consistently from him in this uniform?
You said it. Can you trust this guy to give you X number of games during the course of the season? Because when he's healthy, he gives you range on the jump shot, another three-point shooter, another guy who can put up 16, 18 points a game on a regular basis, gives you a little more size depending on where you're going to play him. But he's always injured, and that's the one thing that you keep coming back to with him.
What does he do for the rest of the guys on the floor, too, because of the attention that you have to pay to him defensively because he can score the basketball court?
Yeah, he's a proven scorer. You know, he's a perennial guy that can go out there and score double figures. But like Coach just said, he has to be available. You know, available is king, you know, in the association, you know, and being consistent in that space. If he's available, he's a threat. he opened up a lot of space, a lot of real estate for other guys to be a better version of themselves.
You know, one of the guys who we didn't pay enough attention to his growth last year was Teodosic, who I know Doc really was in love with. They have so many guys in this rotation in terms of guards and forwards. Be interesting to see who he kind of deploys. You've got Gilgeous-Alexander, obviously the younger kid there, Robinson as well. But Teodosic was a guy who played well in his minutes last year, Coach.
Yeah, I wondered if he was going to come back or not this season because of just what he went through in that year of the NBA after being such a star over in Europe as he had been for so long. But you now have such a great complement and diversity from these players that can all play backcourt positions. You have guys that can really see the floor. If you want to run, they'll pass, they'll find open people. You have guys who can shoot the ball and shoot it with distance. You have defensive guys. He might have different sets that do different things as he's substituting in and out during the course of the game. You have guards with size, a lot of size back there. Kind of interesting for Doc.
Speaking of size, who are we kidding? You got Boban. Let's not forget, we love you, Boban. We've got more coming up on the other side. The starters will weigh in. Can the Clippers actually be better this year in the West than they were a year ago? True or not so much? We'll debate when we come back with the starters' help.
This is not preseason. This is the pre-season.
This has nothing to do with the season.
This is like the best training you can get for season.
Your dancing moves help you for the basketball. Do you know that?
How?
You can do like, you know, this guy doesn't know where you can go. You can get your spin move. You can like make pump fake, like with the shoot, and shoot after that.
You gotta be kidding me.
All right, I'm just gonna show you what we're gonna do, all right? Yeah. It's a little bit of this and this and this and this and hit and hit and hit.
I lost you guys.
So 5, 6, 7, 8, go 1 and 2 and hold. Okay. Now, knees in, back. Okay, knees in, there we go. Now you're switching the weight.
You laughing over there, but why
End, give me end.
You was laughing at me before, huh? I won't say you laughing no more. Don't say I'm laughing no more.
You got the first move.
Who's running the class
move.
now?
Although I think Yogi.
What's this here? We talking about the hotness. All around the world, they be talking about the hotness. Even on TV, they be talking about the hotness. Pack of Cadillacs, they be talking about the hotness. What's this here? We talking about the hotness. I got your plaques, they be talking about the hotness. What's this here? We talking about the hotness.
The NBA's version of The Odd Couple? What do you think? You can dance like that, right?
Dancing
right,
with the stars. In both of their near futures.
Speaking of stars, maybe the new edition of the Jungle Book. As Mowgli, you've got Gallo hanging out during the course of the offseason. The starters are down the hall hanging out, telling you whether or not the Clips can be better next year than they were this past one.
Czar, will you do that?
Skeets and Lee here from the starters with your next point about the LA Clippers. Lee, true or false? The Clippers will be better than last season.
False. But I think that'll be by design as well, because if you look at the Clippers, they're looking towards next summer when they could potentially have 2 max salary slots available. And a few players have already sort of flirted with the idea of signing with an LA team. Obviously, with LeBron and the Lakers there's not as much salary cap space as the Lakers might have had in previous years. So the Clippers are another one of those destinations. And really, we saw when they let DeAndre Jordan walk, that was the final nail in the Lob City coffin. Right. So I think this is going to be a year of rebuilding. They picked up some nice pieces in the draft, particularly Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he's going to be a good player. But I think the Clippers don't want to be too good coming into this season. I think they actually want to sort of almost have one of those bad seasons and then do their damage in the off-season.
But they may not be able to be that bad, like you're saying. I mean, they surprised a lot of people going 42-40 last year and nearly making the playoffs. Yeah, DeAndre Jordan's gone. Austin Rivers gone. And that's really about it. You know, they signed Ba Mute, some defense there. Mike Scott comes in as a shooter. Gortat they traded for. You said Shea, their rookie point guard. Jerome Robinson even as a rookie.
They
got some
him
problems
as well,
I mean, I hear you. They may want to be bad, but they've got players there with still, obviously, Lou Williams getting buckets and Patrick Beverley playing defense. There's still some talent there. And Doc Rivers did an unbelievable job with that squad last year. I think he's warranted some sort of Coach of the Year respect and some votes. So I think they may have no choice but to be right in the mix still in the West.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, those veteran guys you talked about, they don't want to tank. They want to go out there and compete.
They don't care. They're not playing for the future or someone else's contract.
I think someone like Lou Williams, though, for example, even though they signed him to that contract late last season, he might be better off on a potential playoff team, and then they can maybe exchange that for a draft pick as well going forward. So they've got a lot more assets going into next summer.
Let's hear from you guys. 42-40 last year, the Clippers. Will they be better this season? Hit us up on Twitter at #TheStarters. We'll hear from you guys.
All right, guys, thank you. Tough question, so we'll take a break and come back and see if we can answer it. Over under. How many wins for the Clippers this coming season? Don't move. Change it is upon us with the Clippers. Lob City no more. A lot of player change, leadership change, transitions, and now Doc's group looking to build off of what they did last year. Can they? We get to play our fun game we close every show with, a little more or less. So, Coach, 38 wins, more or less than that this year for the Clips.
And this was really a hard one for me because they do have talented enough veteran players that they can win more than 38 games. On the other hand, if these younger players are getting a lot more minutes so they can grow and develop, I'm going to say they're going to win more than 38 games.
I'm gonna say, and I was with you on that, but I'm gonna say less, just because you got the Lakers in their division, in the Pacific Division, and they're gonna win games. You know, LeBron is there to win basketball games. So, with that being said, I think it'll be a little bit less.
They should get more wins for having Boban. That dancing, though. Ooh. Enjoy the season. You can catch all of the action, of course, on NBA TV. No, don't even try and recreate.